Listen up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all. It's your buddy Big John and G, the Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. I love superheroes. I have for, I think, just about all my life. Since the concept was first brought to my attention, which was, I believe, actually a Defenders comic book. Yeah, it was some battle with some demon or the six-fingered hand. And that's what opened my eyes to superheroes. But of course, growing up as a little kid, who doesn't have fun watching the superhero cartoons? Now there are this has been a bit of an explosion. It was dry-ish for a while, but there's been a bit of an explosion in superhero board games. And I want to talk to you about one. It's right there on the shelf. It's one of those. And yes, as you could guess from my shirt, it's a Marvel game. And it's more than just a Marvel game. It's a game I've already played. Very much so anyway. Not completely. But it is a game that reminded me a hell of a lot of Sentinels of the Multiverse. And that's a good thing, because that's a great game. What I want to talk to you about today is Marvel Champions, the card game. I'll see you down the table, and I'll tell you why I love this game. When I first heard that Fantasy Flight Games was doing Marvel superheroes. Though the first thing in my mind immediately was hoping that they would give it a Descent treatment like they did with Star Wars and Imperial Assault. And then I heard they were doing a Champions game. And I figured, oh, it's gonna have to be miniatures. This is gonna be amazing. And it's a card game. And I realized it's less like Descent and more like Arkham Horror the card game. Or to take it out of FFG, it's more like Sentinels of the Multiverse. I love Sentinels of the Multiverse. So I decided to look a little further into this since it wasn't what I was expecting. And it looked great. It made it to a wish list, radars. Couldn't stop talking about it there for a little while, it seemed. And then I got it. I did. I got the core game, along with a bunch of the expansions, the Captain America, the Captain Marvel, the Miss Marvel, Thor, Wrecking Crew, Green Goblin, Black Widow, and by the time this drops, probably have Doctor Strange and or Hulk if they're available at this point. So yeah, I enjoyed this game. Now, let me tell you why. This game did an amazingly fantastic job at capturing the feel of a Marvel comic book. By the end of the game, pretty close from the beginning of the game, I really did feel that energy of a great Marvel comic book, to the point where it felt like a great comic book tabletop adventure that I was in the middle of. And how can you beat that feeling? And you're playing classic heroes that you know and you love to some degree or another, I'm quite sure. You had a chance to play She-Hulk or Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Captain Marvel. I mean, it was it was a really fun time. Stepping into their, I was going to say shoes or boots, stepping into their capes, their masks, their helmets. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. There was also something that I've rarely seen pulled off in superhero games. The use of a secret identity. The cards are flip-sided, so one side is like Spider-Man and the other side is Peter Parker. And there's different things that'll happen in the game depending on whether that's Spidey out in the action or Peter out in the action, or on the street as a bystander, civilian. Not a game term, just a term that I'm saying. It really did help embrace the feeling of feeling sucked into the game. Those villain decks, man, those villain decks are tough. They're not easy to get through at all. But then again, you don't want an easy game, do you? You want a game that's going to give you a challenge. You want a game that's going to make you sit down and play it a couple of times before you figure out a way to beat it. And in the back of your head, you're going to know that just because you beat it once doesn't mean you're going to beat it every time, especially a game like this. A game that has different scenarios, different heroes. You can mix and match the different stories. That's what they are, stories. And you're going to have a hell of a lot of fun being in a Marvel story. And if for whatever reason you find yourself needing to solo a game or play one-player games, you can do that. You can play one player in this game. And you can just use two. You could use one, but I really wouldn't advise that. But, you can sit down and just use two heroes and still get a pretty good run of the game. Well, a lot of the other superhero games, if you can solo them, you're usually going to be having to use multiple characters. And sometimes it just doesn't, it takes away from the fun of the game when you have to do that. Yeah, I definitely love this game, and I'm planning on continuing with the expansions. The next big one that's coming out, or maybe by the time this drops, it's just dropped. I'm not sure when that was going to happen, but what was it called? Rise of the Red Skull. It's a big box or smallish box expansion. So far, all the other expansions have been packages, packets of cards. This is a box, the first box expansion. Really looking forward to that. So if you love Marvel games, you enjoy card games, and you want to feel like you are in a Marvel adventure, please go check out Marvel Champions, the card game.